Tonight, Tom Strikwerda is going to share some of his memories. Tom is one of our members who has been a member more than 40 years. And in that time, he has done a great deal for the Bird Club. Besides a number of the activities, let's see, he was president between 1988 and 1990. He has served mostly with Paul Zucker, I think, his good friend, now deceased, at three atlases on a couple of blocks out on the Triadelphia Reservoir area, choice areas. He counts, seasonal counts almost all the time. Many of our newer members probably don't know Tom, but he went from being very active with us, continued on, and has been helping the state MOS for years. Among other things, he served as president of MOS. And right now, of course, he is our webmaster, the MOS webmaster. So, Tom, would you share your memories, please?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. It's good to see all of you. I don't know most of you. It's been a while since I was up in Howard County. I used to work at Applied Physics Lab and would go to the local meetings there. But since retiring, I find it a little more challenging to deal with all the traffic to go to the meetings. But I appreciate that it's online, and I have attended some of these online meetings. Yeah, as Joe said, I joined over 40 years ago. When I moved to Columbia and saw an article in the Columbia Flyer that the Bird Club was meeting at a school nearby. So I wandered over, and sure enough, that reeled me in, and I became a member. And as she said, I served a lot of different positions as the state director with Paul Zucker for a number of years, and Howard County chapter. Also was involved in the scholarship committee for some years for the at the state level, and then as she said, the MOS presidency and now webmaster. So anyway, I've seen a lot of different things, but the one I wanted to talk to you about tonight was something that was kind of under the radar in some ways, and that was the Maryland BirdLife mailing, which I think all of you get this journal as part of your membership. I think it was probably in somewhere around the 1990s that Howard County chapter was asked if they could take over, be responsible for mailing the journal. There was a chapter that was doing it, and they, for some reason, could no longer do it. And Howard County, as you know, is a very active chapter, and I think we decided to do it. Somewhere in there, I got roped into it. Because my father was in the post office for his career, and maybe I felt that there was something I could be involved in. Anyway, I got paired with Marty Cheston, and I think many of you know that name, and some of you old timers, of course, knew Marty. She was a charter member of the chapter. Marty and I were formed a good team. I provided some of the brawn and some of the organizing for doing it, but Marty had the brains to figure out how to deal with the post office regulations, because we wanted to get a lower rate. We didn't want to mail it out first class. That's too expensive. And Marty had the knowledge to figure out how to deal with the arcane mailing rules. And I was responsible for trying to find volunteers. So what's involved in the BirdLife mailing? Well, so this was, of course, pre-technology. It was all, we had to do all our arranging of everything by telephone, no email, no cell phones and things like that. So we had a lot of coordination to do that way. So while I was rounding up volunteers to help do the labeling of the magazine or the journal, Marty was busy dealing with this long list of mailing labels by zip code, and had to bundle them appropriately. If there were 10 addresses at least within one 5-digit zip code, she could bundle those. If it was 3 digits, first 3 digit, could bundle those. Had to look out for international mailings and other states. And everything had to be done by the book. So this is where Marty really excelled. She kept track of everything. I simply provided the brawn to move boxes around and things like that. But anyway, we'd have these mailing parties that I helped organize, and a number of them were held at Joe's house, I know, and we get about 6 or 8 people around the dining room table, and everybody took a stack of mailing labels and started labeling the bird life issues. And at the end of the night, we had a bunch of mail bags, all appropriately labeled, thanks to Marty. And we had a good time. People would bring some snacks and keep us fortified. We had a lot of chatter back and forth about family and birds and trips that we made, Howard County issues, all that kind of stuff. And it was really a great opportunity to get to know people in the chapter, sort of rotating cast of characters. And as some of you old timers remember, they filling out a sheet by hand for your membership and asking what you could volunteer to do. And fortunately, enough people volunteered to help with mailing the bird life. So that was all very fun, but the job that was left to me was bringing these mail bags up to the Baltimore, Maine post office, which I would do after work. And I don't know if this is a massive facility. I didn't go into the lobby. I had to go around to the shipping area and deal with a lot of gruff people, try to find somebody to take my mail bags from me, and so that was pretty tough. But eventually, we got a permission to deliver them to Howard County, to the Columbia post office. That made things a lot easier. But anyway, to make a long story short, Howard County chapter really stood up, and really it was a great time. And I want to thank anybody who's from that time who helped either do the stuffing or labeling or hosting one of the stuffing parties. So thank you for that. And I think Howard County continues to be very active, and thanks for your help, and good luck going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. That was very interesting. And I'm glad you brought up about the technology, because we have people who grew up with technology, and we have people who forget about, pre-email and cell phones. So it's a good point.
Yeah. Eventually, the MOS decided that we could afford to have the publisher do all the sorting and mailing, and that took obviously our efforts then were terminated. But it was a good run while we did it.
Thank you so much.